Thanks to all of you. Team that you work around, please pass on our thanks and our gratitude to them. They work very hard. Most folks will never know who they are and not get a chance to be able to say thank you. So please pass that on as well. I do want to continue some of the conversation about the border because while we're dealing with worldwide threats, we're seeing the worldwide threats coming towards us and some obvious vulnerabilities in this. As has been mentioned, talked about in the past, in this fiscal year, 58 people on the terror watch list that have been identified and picked up. There's also a category called special interest aliens. Director Wray, I know you're familiar with that as well. The special interest aliens, many people may not know this definition. I'm just going to read it, what this designation is. It says the special interest alien is a non-U.S. person who, based on analysis of travel patterns, potentially poses a national security risk to the United States or its interests. Often such individuals or groups are employing travel patterns known or evaluated, possibly have a nexus to terrorism. Do we have a listing of how many people have crossed our southern border that we have identified in this fiscal year that are special interest aliens? Director Wray, do you know that number?
I don't know the number, but we could follow up with you to see if that's something we could provide.
It has been one of our challenges to try to identify that. While on the terror watch list, we can get that number and know that it's 58 exactly. When we ask the issue of special interest aliens, we're told often that is law enforcement sensitive. We know the number is in the thousands, but have not been able to get a specific number nor a specific tracking on that. So that'd be helpful to be able to know, because the next question is the obvious one of those individuals that they're coming in, and I'm just going to give you a number if it's in the thousands. Is FBI contacted when these individuals that are coming across our border released into the country? Because the vast majority of the SIAs, we don't have a criminal background information on them. We have a theory, so they're released into the country currently. Is the FBI kept in contact from DHS and others who those individuals are or what kind of tracking and monitoring is on those individuals?
I know that we work closely with DHS, especially CBP, on the issue of special interest aliens, including a whole lot of work on the other side of the border to try to prevent them from coming in the first place. And I know there are instances where we're contacted, but I'm not sure that as I sit here right now, I can tell you that we're contacted in every instance.
Okay, that's helpful. Mr. Holmgren, you haven't got a lot of questions today. We need to give you some attention here. Obviously, the State Department is very engaged in this and trying to be able to figure out for the intelligence side of the information sharing. Those individuals that are crossing the border right now from many of those countries, we don't have any criminal information on these individuals. Do you know just offhand how many countries that are coming into the United States when they're crossing our southern border, we have criminal background information? Let me give you, for instance, Venezuela. We were talking about Venezuelan gangs earlier and those individuals that are crossing into the country, many of them being paroled into the country. Is Venezuela freely sharing their criminal records with us? Do we know if these individuals have a criminal record?
Thank you, Senator. I don't know exactly if Venezuela is sharing specific information with us. What I can say, though, about Venezuela, obviously, is that we've seen over 7 million Venezuelans emigrate from the country since 2017, a significant portion of whom obviously have emigrated to the United States illegally. But when we do get relevant information from our counterparts at DHS and FBI, our analysts use that to help inform their judgments.
It's one of the challenges that we have as well for individuals. For instance, currently Nicaragua is not taking people back on that, and we're all dependent on State Department to impose some sort of consequences on Nicaragua to say you're a recalcitrant country, you're not taking people back on that. Do you happen to know any of the conversation right now between Nicaragua and the United States on trying to deal with recalcitrants? Because we do have a tracking of some that have criminal records that are coming towards us and to consider that a threat.
Senator, I don't have specifics on the details of engagement with Nicaragua. Happy to follow up with you offline.
That'd be great. Thank you very much for that. Director, let me come back to you and talk a little bit about CFATS. This is an acronym most people don't know, the Chemical Facility Anti-Terrorism Standards. We've had that since 2007. It expired in July of last year and has not been reauthorized yet. One of the aspects of that is for a chemical facility, refinery, whatever it may be, they have the ability to be able to check against the terror watch list using this authority on that. With that expiration, there's about 9,000 people a month that used to be checked on that, just in the hiring and the process of all over the country. We have about 63,000 people we're estimating that have not been checked. My question for you is, do we have any idea how many people show up as a hit on the terror watch list from the hiring in the past? That when we do that check on it, which now is not occurring because we've not reauthorized this, how many folks do ping on that terror watch list?
I'm not sure I can give you a number sitting here right now, but I will tell you, I share your concern about the lapse in the authorities. And one of the challenges of this particular space is, of course, it doesn't take many for it to be a real problem. And we rely on that authority, or we historically have, to protect.
Right. Could
yeah.
you say that number is not zero as far as how many people have pinged on the terror watch list when that has been run in the past?
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.